Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Industrial cybersecurity spans a whole range of products. It's actually getting more complex, more complicated as to where things fit.
Yes.
So can you kind of start this off by explaining where ARMIS fits into that solution set with the
Yeah.
cybersecurity?
Yeah, great. So well, we start with visibility, right? So we discover all the devices on an OT network. We identify the devices. We want to know what the device is, what the device is doing, and all the interactions across all the different devices amongst the OT network. So we collect information from several data sources, from traffic analysis to integrations, and we cover so many use cases. The whole idea is just to understand the cybersecurity posture of each device, but also understand the risks that these devices impose at whatever states they are in, as well as do the vulnerability matching and correlate that information with across all the different integrations that we manage. And ultimately, we want to integrate with other systems such as CMDBs, SIEMs, firewalls, SOARs. The whole idea is that we can monitor different behaviors, threats, risks, vulnerabilities, and then help, CMDBs, for instance, to be up to date. We want to, if there is a risk, a very critical risk, a threat, for instance, we want to use the policy engine that we have to, to match a specific condition and then block if necessary, right? So it's all a part of the risk assessment that we do from, from a risk perspective or the device threat perspective, and then integrate with these systems that can do something about it. It's not just the visibility portion and understand what the devices are, but how to protect them.
A lot of companies I deal with, when I talk to people, I think many struggle to maintain the hygiene, use that term for their cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Is that something that ARMIS helps them with, can help them with, or does help them?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of things that we do. Okay, so as part of the data collection, we collect basically hardware information, software information. So we then, when we do the analysis of this data across all, using the ARMIS intelligence engine, we then can collect information regarding to end of life, end of support, and help the customers to, understand what the risky devices are. Put that in perspective from a business, point of view, and understand, what can happen if one of these devices fail. Um, the same thing with software, operating systems, firmwares. Okay, um, the whole idea is just to understand again the security posture of these devices according to the end of life, end of support, or any risk behaviors that they have, and then help the customers to prioritize, the remediation process, whether it's um, uh, uh, network segmentation, zero trust validation, because we actually see the information from these devices, who is accessing these devices, and how can we protect them, whether it's actually by isolate them and make them work until they such a time that they can actually update, or simply keep an eye on it.
Another thing that I'm seeing is the companies are trying to, I use the word converge their IT and OT cybersecurity programs. Some people don't like the term convergence, they collaborate. But to deal with those things as a whole, is that something that ARMIS can help them with?
Definitely. So what we do, we monitor device behaviors. Okay, so and ARMIS is an enterprise-wide solution. The advantage to that is that we can, do exactly what I'm explaining in an OT environment. We can actually do exactly the same in an IT environment. Okay, and when it comes to communicating the two, we understand that there are systems like SIP systems, management, scheduling, reporting, that they need to collect information from an OT production perspective to create the reports and the dashboards. So we can actually provide the context across the two different devices, the devices that actually connecting, actively connecting and communicating to the OT, and managing, validating that the information that they're collecting is the expected information that they need to collect. But then if it's something that is not, expected, some anomalous behavior, some a camera, for instance, trying to connect, as a botnet to a, engineer station, to take advantage, we can actually monitor these type of behaviors, and that's how we help the convergence, by monitoring the information, they collected from an IT perspective into OT and manage the actually properly done and not anomalous.
Oh, very good. What kind of initiatives are you planning in the plans for ARMIS overall? What's your plans for the future?
So there is a lot of information that we collect from the network. There is a lot of threats, vulnerabilities, risks. Some of the initiatives that we're working on at the moment is with we call it Viper internally. It's a module for vulnerability prioritization. We actually collect the vulnerability information from different sources, and then we can actually help the customers to prioritize the vulnerabilities. We also want to work on helping the zero trust framework, as you say, to validate, because we see the communications and we want to validate basically that the communications that we see across all these different systems are actually the ones that they're supposed to be doing. And we also want to integrate more with firewalls, firewall vendors, to make sure that we can do something about it. If it's actually an anomalous behaviors, we want to take actionable items to protect the systems. And then we're actually working very hard towards that path.
With the closing question, one thing I see is about partnerships. They seem to be very important. It's a very big group of players in the cybersecurity space. Lots of people do different things. So what's your strategy for partnership?
So there are partners and partners and partners. Rather, they are technical partners, they are reseller partners, they are services partners. So we're working with all of them. Okay. So at the end of the day, we want the end customer to basically enjoy the services that we are providing. The advantages that I just mentioned. And then we are working with the partners, with technical partners, to enhance their capabilities with the data that we provide. And we're very open with that. We have several integrations, and also we have a REST API capabilities, to allow them to pull information. That's on the technical point of view. So they can basically add context from an asset point of view into the systems. Imagine that a policy in a firewall to understand that, hey, this is a PLC, this is a station. It's something very solid. And when it comes to replicate these policies, it will be easier because it's not just an IP address. When it comes to secure remote access or even zero trust, we want to provide exactly the same context to the policies so that it's easier for them to create those policies, as well as the validation, from a policy point of view, understanding that these devices have been actually connecting through the platform that they're actually trying to implement. And then, of course, other service partners, to basically to help the deployment and the personalization of ARMIS in their customers, making sure that they can again see the value, but also use that value for their own benefit. Getting information into SIEM and creating the dashboards and the reports and all these great things that we can provide to them for them to make their job easier, and of course, to distribute ARMIS across all the different customer base.
Well, Carlos, I could talk to you all day, but we are running out of time.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the time to talk to you today.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a great opportunity, such a great event. Having a great conversation. So thank you so much for having me.
We've been speaking with Carlos Buenano, who's the CTO for OT at ARMIS. Thank you for watching.